hope you guys are having a good time. So what we will cover today is something which is very, very specific to certain cities. Yeah, because we get a lot of question that what are the major hubs for data science in India, right? So that's what I've done here, that I kind of created a small session, a small deck where I wanted to highlight the current opportunities which are there in some of the major hubs of India: Bangalore, Pune, and Delhi NCR. Okay. So who's from where? Nirjar, which city are you from? Sahil, which city are you from? Akhil, Akshay. Nirjar is saying he's from
Hello, sir.
Calcutta.
Yeah,
Hi.
sir. This is Akshay here. I am from Pune.
Okay. And Akhil is from Hyderabad. All right. All right. So Hyderabad I've not covered here because, again, depending upon the tech hub. So yeah. So just about quickly about us, we spent around 13 years in this industry: data science consulting, data science skill building, coaching, and whatnot. We worked with some of the largest firms in the world. We have trained approximately 22,500 plus people since 2008. Some of the largest companies, Tata Steel, ITC, Genpact, the Math Company, Honeywell, Tesco. These are some of the largest companies that are clients. So just about us, we are present in these 6 cities in India. Okay. So the first thing is, what are the top data science skills? So how I want to do this is that first I'm going to explain you a few things that basis our research, and then feel free to ask me any question regarding these cities. What's going on, or the skills which are there, which are required in this industry, and then I'll be more than happy to answer this. So the top skills, basis Indeed.com, based on the openings that we have: SQL, Java. Java, you see now, Java, not so much in data science, but in terms of tech skills, Java still is famous. Python, very, very important. R, Spark Scala, right? So which is typically used in unstructured data as well. So these are the typical skills which are required in the industry. Now, if you talk of Bangalore specifically, nobody's here from Bangalore, but you can't really ignore Bangalore. The reason why you can't ignore Bangalore, because most of the openings, one of the research studies shows that almost 33%, 1/3 of overall openings that we see in India in the world of data is from Bangalore, are in Bangalore. Okay, so we got students from multiple cities who work in Bangalore. I'm going to give you a few examples of those students as well, so you can check out their profiles. As per Indeed, there are 1,800 plus openings in the last 14 days itself in Bangalore only in data science, and I'm talking about data science openings. Okay, 1,300 plus openings in Naukri in the last 1 month for Bangalore, 12,000 plus openings in 1 month for Bangalore data science. Okay, so you can see significant amount of openings, specifically for Bangalore. Some of the actively hiring companies in Bangalore are HP Enterprise, and HP Analytics, Wipro Analytics, Accenture. Accenture is also a client. Cognizant is also a client. And then a lot of product companies as well. A lot of banking, financial companies offices are also there in Bangalore. Adobe, Citi, Volvo. Some of the startups are hiring aggressively in Bangalore. Upstart and startups like Urban Company. A lot of startups are also hiring in Bangalore. Do you have the number of openings based on experience? So in general, good question, Akhil. I should have probably come up with that data as well. But in general, what we see is that pyramid is always like this. Meaning the bottom is always heavy. Bottom is your fresh grads. Okay. The number of people working in the industry at any point of time in the data science world is always with lot more young people. That's how they help. That's how the companies manage their margins, right? So the pyramid is always heavy. You can always say that. Okay. That means what I'm trying to say is that even if we do not see these openings specifically mentioning fresh grads, but I can tell you that most of the openings, most of the companies are looking for fresh grads. The reason being that that's how they manage their margins. And I mean, the only thing is that most of the time they don't end up going into Naukri and all, Indeed and all, to publish those fresher openings, because they can go directly to colleges and institutes like us to get the fresh guys, fresh grads. Now, what are the strategic advantages for Bangalore, right? I mean, of course, the latest report, 2021 report by the government says it's the first in ease of living, right? So that is again one of the reasons why a lot of companies have their big offices. There are a lot of people, because it's a very people-centric industry, data science. So a lot of people want to live in that city. Although traffic is bad, still, ease of living is very high there. Then Silicon Valley, right? It's a very old tag, very important tag, and because these are still very tech-oriented jobs, so that is why you'll find a lot of technology companies or a lot of tech-related companies which are there. All the Indian IT big ones, like whether it is TCS, Wipro, HCL, not so much of HCL, but Infosys, all of them are highly concentrated in Bangalore, very large offices. Even the global IT providers like Accenture, IBM, Cognizant, they also have a very significant presence in Bangalore. So that is again, those are the companies which are very, very willing to hire in the world of data science. It's also the second fastest growing major metropolis in India. Okay, so a lot of advantages, and still a few more advantages. I have it in my next slide. There is a huge aerospace and defense industry in Bangalore. That's also higher. People aren't aware of it, but defense and aerospace industries have significant demand for the data science world, data science engineers or data science guys, because they deal with significantly important data. Bangalore is also home to some of the greatest highly reputed institutes as well. ISC, IM, NIFT, NID, Triple IT, NMIMS, ISI, very, very highly reputed institutes, which all these institutes produce good number of people who are hired in the world of data. So again, that also attracts a lot of companies working in Bangalore. Okay, I mean, globally also companies know Bangalore and they know the ecosystem is there, especially in the tech world, right? So that is why more and more jobs come to this to the city, right? So these are some of the strategic advantage of Bangalore. And I also wanted to show you a few selected profile, Ivy's alumni profile from Bangalore. And I'm going to also open their links, just to show you their profiles. So Abhinav, very nice guy. Let's look at his profile as well. So you'll see that diverse set of people work in Bangalore. He's actually working in HR analytics. Okay, very nice guy, very detailed HR analytics. Actually, yeah, HR analytics is where he works in. A lot of people follow him as well. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, he started his career as a tech engineer and then did the course with us as well. Now he's working in HR analytics with Kaseya, one of the companies there. He's worked with Oyo as well before. Yeah. So earlier he was working in pure HR and then gradually transitioned himself to HR analytics, and now he's working in Bangalore. So one guy like that, and then let's see some other folks. Let's open this Pushpendra Chaudhary. So he's working as a data analyst in Pramata and probably MIML as well, MINAL as well. So he did our program in 2018 actually. So he started as a data associate in Pramata, and now he's working in this company. So again, okay, he was also an engineer. Let's see. And then let's look at Geeta Song. Yeah, good guy. This guy also. So just want to show you, what variety of people you will see in certain. So this person has done bachelor's degree in statistics and maths. Yeah. So he's working with Infosys. So you'll see that I mean, yeah. Let's see this guy's profile also. So he's working with Mindtree. So you'll see a lot of IT-oriented jobs are also there in. I mean, a lot of tech companies related jobs are also there in Bangalore. But I can tell you that Bangalore has a wide variety of opportunities to offer. So any questions about Bangalore, guys? Or should I move to Pune? If I remember the statistics, there are 1,200 plus startups in Bangalore which are focusing in the data science industry. 1,200 plus. It's a very significantly large geography to focus on if you're interested in data science industry. Pune, so if you compare, right, so 550 openings in the last 14 days, 450 openings in Naukri, 3,300 openings in the last 1 month. Bangalore had 12,000 openings most in the last 1 month. Okay, just to show you the comparison. So if you look at the data for Bangalore, 1,800, 1,300, and 12,000. So 1,800, 1,300, 12,000. So 1/3, right? Which kind of makes sense, because Pune contributes approximately 12 to 15% of overall openings in the data science world in India. Bangalore contributes almost 3 times more, which is 33% to one more, approximately more than 1/3 of India's overall job openings in the data science world. But Pune is also very important. The reason is that Pune, I'm going to tell you about the strategic advantage of Pune. Pune also has good number of companies, very good number of companies that you see some of the names are here, and I'm going to share this deck with you anyways. Ranked second in government ease of living. You see a lot of, because Bangalore has kind of saturated now, is becoming kind of saturated because of the traffic problems and all. And Pune doesn't have that much of traffic problems. It's pretty well expanded that way. The weather of Pune and Bangalore are kind of similar to a very large extent. And Pune also has a very good ease of living. I've lived there for 4-5 years, so I know it's very nice to live there. It's an automobile and manufacturing hub of India. A lot of auto companies are there. And these auto companies also hire a lot of people in the data science world. And it's the second major IT hub, just after Bangalore. And one of the best things about Pune, why companies get attracted, it's called as Oxford of the East, because there are so many education institutes. Maybe not as highly regarded as probably what you would find in some of the other cities, but there are some of the very good colleges which are there, PICT, government COEP, some tech colleges, some good science colleges, Ferguson and Symbiosis. There are very good set of colleges which are there, a very good number as well. So that also attracts a lot of companies. Half of the total number of international students in the country is studying in Pune. It's considered as education capital. So a lot of companies are attracted to it. A lot of German companies are also at Pune. And a lot of startups are coming in Pune. Again, as I said, one of the main reasons why is now startups, some of the good startups are focusing in Pune and not in Bangalore, because everybody has now is kind of aware of the Bangalore traffic problem, right? And also in Pune, it's easier to retain people than in Bangalore. Bangalore, the competition is high, and it's very difficult to retain people in Bangalore. That's again one of the advantages of Pune. But the only thing is, it's still at almost 1/3 of Bangalore in terms of number of openings, and in terms of number of companies also which are focusing in data science. But still, it is not bad. If you are from Pune, if you have a house there, I would suggest that target Pune specific companies to begin with. Definitely, I would suggest that. some of the notable. So we've had very good set of very good set of people coming out of our Pune office. I remember this guy also, Uday. Yeah, let's open Uday's profile. Recently placed in Bridge I2I. Bridge I2I is also a very, very good company. Although Bridge I2I is in Bangalore, but this guy is from Pune. So yeah, he think was an engineer. Yeah, he did his engineering from Calcutta, then he moved to Bangalore, moved to Pune for some time. Then from Pune, now he's moved to Bangalore. He got a job from us only in Bridge I2, a very nice company to work with, especially in the world of data science. Recently moved, December, January. Yeah, so you can see his profile as well. Probably get inspired. Very hardworking guy. Arpita is working in Nihilent. I forgot her profile. Yeah, so she working in Pune only, it seems. Yeah, so Nihilent is a Pune-based company. So yeah, she did in August, yeah. And she was also what? She was an MBA and engineer. Okay. And for the last 2 years, she's been working in Nihilent. Good girl. White Hat, Junior. Tulika also, I remember she's now working PwC. Yeah, but she's shifted her base from Bangalore to Pune, from Pune to Bangalore, although she's from Pune. Yeah. So you'll see, a lot of times this also happens that a lot of people switch their location from Pune to other cities as well. Yeah. So you can see her profile also. So any other question about Pune, guys? About Pune, any questions? Shail, any questions?
So I have one question. For Pune, like for all locations, do they prefer freshers more or experience? Because as I see normally in LinkedIn or some profile, there usually they have mentioned it as especially for experienced person, for data
You see,
scientist or for data.
Akshay, what happens is when you go to just LinkedIn or when you go to Naukri or Indeed, just like that, then you will see that these guys would say that I mean we are looking for people who have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years experience because those are good for hiring experienced folks. I mean it's not that it doesn't mean that if you don't have a profile in those job portals. Now, when it comes to fresh college grad hiring, right? The companies tend to go to colleges and the companies tend to come to skill building companies like us, right? And that's when they directly ask for the fresh college grads. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that is why the normal perception says that, hey, when I go to Indeed, I see most of the openings which are for the experienced guys. Yes, because those are platforms to hire experienced folks. Do you understand, Akshay? Right?
Yes, sir.
Having said that, there's one more fact that I tell you, okay? The demand in data science is significantly large. It's I think 5 times more than what we are able to supply right now. Okay, and I mean, in fact, very recently I interviewed one of the co-founder and CEO of one of the very large and very aggressively growing company in the world of data science called as the Math Company, and I'm going to recommend you that you watch his interview as well. I'm going to just send this link to everybody, and maybe you want to subscribe to Ivy's channel also. His name is Sayandeep Banerjee, and he heads a company called as the Math Company. Very, and he was also one of the co-founders of MusicBa. So he's a pure industry stalwart. Okay, so just watch this short video. You'll actually get to understand, why when I say that huge demand, right? And it's a very new, I mean, very recent interview. It's not even like few years ago. It's post-pandemic, and you will see why there is a demand. What are the skills which are required? What is happening? What are the changes that are happening in the world of data science? Very nicely covered. we had a great discussion on these topics, So you will actually get to learn quite a few things. And if you have a specific question, you can go to specific points in the video as well, right? You'll also come to know about this company that he is heading now. He's the CEO of, and he's considered to be the stalwart in this industry. So very, very nice guy. Okay? Now, why I said this is so that you will actually understand, why there is a strong need for people who are in the world of data science and strong need for people who are fresh as well. And what are the skills that are required in those fresh grads? Okay, so the question is, are there more openings for freshers than experienced in Pune regarding data? So Sahil, to answer that question, again, as I said, pyramid is bottom heavy. That means there'll always be more number of fresh grads working in any industry than the experienced one. Sahil, that's how the companies manage their margins. Do you understand, Sahil, what I'm trying to say? Watch this interview. You'll actually get to understand quite a few things about this industry as to what is really going on, what to expect next. Maybe watch that person's interview, and also I would suggest to watch one more interview. So this guy's interview is also very interesting. He's also one of the chief data scientists of one of the decently sized company that I had interviewed a few months ago. Watch this expert Shala, analytics Shala that we have. You'll actually find quite a few interesting conversations. All these are very recent conversations, not more than 2-3 months ago conversations. You'll actually get to hear what the industry stalwarts are saying about the data science industry and what are the opportunities for the fresh grads, right? All right, moving on to Delhi NCR. There are some folks who are from Delhi as well. 1300 in Indeed, 800 plus in Naukri, and Monster 3000. So if you notice, it has more than Pune, of course, but it's NCR we're talking of, right? Which also includes Gurgaon and Noida. So Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida. So almost 3 major hubs, right? That is why the number of openings is a little more than Pune you would see, right? So, by the way, Mumbai I have not covered here, but now what is happening is Pune and Mumbai are kind of being compared together, right? So that is also there. But anyway, so here, of course, you can't really compare with Bangalore in terms of number of openings, because in Bangalore we had 12,000 here, and here we have 3,000. However, still Delhi NCR is becoming a big hub. So approximately 24% of overall openings in the data science world, right? Almost twice the number of openings of Pune comes from Chennai, from Delhi. Now, Akhil's question is, how about Chennai? Well, Chennai, Hyderabad, they're also decently sized hubs which are there for data science. However, their contribution. So, for example, Chennai contributes around 7 to 8%. Hyderabad contributes around 7 to 8% of overall openings, right? Calcutta contributes around 4%, 4 to 5% of overall openings. They're also there, but in terms of major tech hub, as we say, right? 3 major major data science hubs that are there in India: Delhi NCR. Sorry, first is Bangalore, then Delhi NCR, then Pune. Akhil. So that is why I wanted to make sure that these 3 are covered. Okay. Some of the companies you will see, there are a lot of good consulting companies as well. There are a lot of good financial companies, a lot of retail specific companies. Airtel has its hub. McKinsey has its hub there. Deloitte has its hub there. Genpact has its hub there. Mastercard has its hub there in Gurgaon. PepsiCo has its hub there. Car24. A lot of startups are also there in Noida and Gurgaon. So yeah, a lot of companies, a lot of good companies are there in Gurgaon area, Noida area, which are constantly hiring in the world of data science. I mean, we got students in MasterCard, they're very good. McKinsey also, we got students. Deloitte also, we got students. IBM also, we got students. Honeywell is also actually our client as well. So, you know, Intel, I don't think we have anybody, but yeah, good set of folks. Now, why, you know, Delhi is famous for its high-class science education. Not so much of engineering education, I would say, but high-class science education. In engineering also, it has some decent colleges like IIT and Delhi Technological University and so forth, or NSIT, but there are only 3-4 such great colleges. But DU has a large network of great maths, eco, science, maths, eco, stats kind of colleges and other science-related colleges. And DU students are quite famous in the world of analytics, right? And companies have been hiring DU students for a very, very long time. So that's the reason why Delhi is quite famous. They get local candidates, local students. Noida again is very well planned, and it's a hub for software and mobile app development companies. And they all also need data folks. Paytm hires quite a bit, and Paytm has their hub, their head office in Noida. Gurgaon has head office, I mean, multiple head offices of very large companies, McKinsey, Airtel, quite a few large companies. Second largest in IT hub in the world, I mean, in India, and third largest financial and banking hub. So a lot of BFSI companies are also there in Gurgaon area. Huge number of companies. Gurgaon, yeah, largest medical that tourism industry that also attracts people from data science. Thousands of startups, good number of startups, very good infrastructure. Yeah, and in the northern India, in the northern side of India, Gurgaon and Noida are the two major hubs. See, around Bangalore, there is still Mangalore, there is still Mysore, Chennai is not too far, Hyderabad is not too far. But in the northern part, once you go above, once you go north of, let's say, Bombay, then there is really not much opportunities, right? So then you directly go to Delhi. So that is why it becomes like a gateway to all these folks who want to work in that area. That is a lot of companies get attracted to that, right? So a lot of international companies have Indian headquarters there. We have had some great students coming out of Delhi, right? Not necessarily working in Delhi per se, but yeah, I mean, say for example, there is this girl Shreya Gupta who got recently placed in Bridge I2 at the same company as Uday, and she's pretty good in, you know, in working on projects and so forth. So if you want, you can actually go to her profile. You can see the kind of project that she's worked on. Yeah, so she did the program recently only, and she had done MA in economics from MIT. So very good profile. Daksh Jain, if I remember, he was from one of the DU colleges. He's now working with KPMG, working as an analyst. Old student actually, not a recent student. Yeah, he was working in, he was from a DU college, yeah, 2018. So he's been working with KPMG for almost 2 years now. Good person. Piyush. So Nirjit's question is an interesting question. Nirjit's question is, can I suggest some keywords to search jobs in data science world? Well, I mean, you know, if you want to look for jobs in data science world, one of the first places that you should go is you should go to LinkedIn, right? And what you should do is that you should try and look for, let's say, data science recruiters India. And the reason why I say so is that when you look for data science recruiters or analytics recruiters, so in terms of keyword, of course, you know, data science, analytics, data analysis, business analyst, right? These are data engineer. These are the typical keywords. But when you go to LinkedIn and look for data science recruiters or analytics recruiters, you will actually find quite a few recruiters who are here. And when you go to these recruiters profile, then what you will find is you'll find that what kind of companies, what kind of roles are they hiring for. Now this guy has not written the roles that he's hiring for, but you would actually see so they a lot of times they describe the profile, right? Yeah, look at this, huh? So you will actually see a lot of such people who would have described the kind of profile that they're looking for. Yeah. So she's hiring for people who are data scientists, data engineer, machine learning, big data, Python developer, SQL developer, SQL analyst. These are some of the things that you would actually see, right? Science question is, what are the more major posts and roles in data science stream which are emerging or important or getting placed? You know, again, as I said, right, just if you watch this video, you'll actually have a very good understanding of the discussion that we had on that same topic, right? Most of the tools that you use, this one with Cyanide that I was talking about, we specifically covered this particular topic, that what are the specific posts, right? Now, just to take the pointers that we discussed there, what the companies are looking for. The companies are looking for people who are really passionate about the world of data. Now data world is divided into people who can do statistical modeling, people who are very good with data visualization, and people who are very good in the computational science of it. That means because we work with huge amount of data, so there are a set of requirements for people who are very good in the computational science, and also there is a specific requirement for people who can bring everything together. That means the algorithm, the statistical algorithm, the machine learning algorithm, and the visualization all together and create an application out of it, almost like an app out of this. Then you call yourself as a full stack data scientist. Do you understand this? But having said that, what I would strongly recommend you is that if you are serious about data science industry, then you should try and build your statistical understanding. You should try and build your data visualization understanding, and you should try and build your machine learning modeling understanding, and also try and understand or try and learn how to deploy these algorithms in form of an application, in form of a platform, right? They're not very difficult things. The more difficult things are to learn the statistics part of it, the machine learning part of it, and the visualization part of it. The deployment part actually is not so difficult if you learn this. So in terms of the in-demand skill, either you become an expert in each one of these, or in any one of these, or you become a generalist who knows a little bit about all these, right? And at the same time, you know how to deploy a machine learning algorithm or a statistical algorithm into a production ready web application, right? That is where the true demand is, right? In terms of skills, as I said, right, please do not discount some of the fundamental skills, statistical skills, SQL skills, Excel skills, which would also help you to get data visualization skills, right? Then go into Python, right? I mean, don't go into Python without having learned how to build a statistical model. What is the need of it? What are the statistics which are required? Then go to Python and try and build a model. Then go and learn how to deploy a model as well. If you're able to do all these, then you can call yourself as a great data scientist. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? A lot of people get fascinated with words like computer vision, natural language processing. Yes, those are important things, but in the interview, especially as you guys have been asking about fresh college grads interviews or fresh openings, the companies want to hire people who are willing to learn, who are open to learn, and who are not expert per se, because they're hiring junior folks. So they will ask you fundamental questions. They would ask you that, hey, are you really into the world of data, or are you just getting, are you just running after some keywords or some buzzwords in the industry? Companies don't like to hire people who are just running after buzzwords without having understood what the world of data science really means. So work on the fundamentals, showcase projects. See, I'll show you some of our students project work, and you will actually understand what I'm trying to talk about. So let's say all these, I mean, for example, Shreya Gupta also, right? I mean, look at the kind of projects that she has done, and she's very nicely presented those projects also. And I'm going to show you one more person's. Now she's just a BCom, okay? BCom, and now she's a storyteller, data storyteller, and she works on the projects. She publishes those projects on her LinkedIn profile. We also host her on our YouTube profile as well. On Ivy's YouTube profile, you will see, when you go to Ivy's YouTube profile, you'll see there is a section for where industry projects by a student. So you will see all these are done, all these are projects which are hand selected projects which are done by students, right? They also get extra certificate for this. You'll actually see that how well these projects are done by our students, right? And now, does it mean that all our students are doing some projects like this? Yes, we try and make it mandatory, but not everybody is able to do projects like this. But people who end up doing projects like this, who end up publishing these social projects, projects like this on social profiles like on LinkedIn or on YouTube and so forth, those are the guys who show that they're very passionate about this industry. And this is what counts. So look at her, she has worked on so many great projects, and look at the number of people who have commented and have liked her projects. Now, when you have your resume like this, and she has given references, links to these projects on her resume also. So when you make a social resume like this, then nobody, your recruiter would not need any other evidence that you know what you're trying to talk about, right? Because she's also a fresher, but look at the number of followers that she has and the kind of project that she has done, and she's gotten 3 or 4 job openings just because of the kind of activities that she's been doing, the projects. And most of these projects she did as part of the coursework. Some of the projects she did by herself, so that's what matters. Are you getting a point, Sahil, what I'm trying to say? Right? You can be, what I'm trying to say is that data science is in a stage, in a juncture where it has huge amount of requirements, but it has requirement for people who are really, really passionate about data. And how do you, as a fresh college grad, how do you display your passion? You display your passion by making your profile social. That means work on the projects, publish it socially, let the world know, have people comment on it, have people like those projects, do a genuine work on your project, and keep doing it. That's the best way to kind of strongly create a profile. See, I'll show you her resume also, then you'll understand the meaning of a social resume. It's the same girl's resume. And again, as I said, she's just a BCom. Some of you guys may have significantly better degrees. So deep interest in and aptitude in telling stories, dedicated improvement on whatever. Now look at her first, just 2-page resume, projects on data science. All these are projects done on data visualization, very nicely explained. And then she has given public links, social links. So if I'm a recruiter, I can quickly go to that particular link and I can see what kind of projects she has done. Then, what are people talking about it? So she has given a video as well on that, which kind of now we have made it mandatory for all our students to do. So 114 people have liked it, 26 people have commented, more than 1500, I mean, approximately 1500 views are there. So as a recruiter, I can't get more confidence about her than by watching these quick projects. Look at the number of projects. So 5 projects there, then data automation project, then SQL project, then Tableau, online competition. Online competitions are also very important. Then her education is coming because her education wasn't very relevant, so that's why she has put it down. Then she has given some social media engagement, some of the tutorials that she's created on these topics, some of the other talks that she has had. So all of that she has given over here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, guys? So this is how, and completely fresh, just 2020 grad, I think, yeah, 2020 grad. But she's got more than 3 jobs only by doing all these activities. So this is how, as a college fresh grad, you would want to show that you got great passion for this industry. Just believe me one thing, right? There are a lot of openings. Don't worry about the demand side. Worry about the concept side. Worry about whether you are able to market your profile. And that's the reason why nowadays in Ivy we have started focusing on helping students create social resumes like this. They're not social resumes, they're not, not fancy in color or anything, just that they contain good description of the projects that they worked upon and links of those projects in their profile. Got it? Yeah, so we have, of course, have helped more than 22,500 people from different companies and so forth. Now, what I want to ask you guys is that any question that you guys have about data science opportunities, I know some of you have already asked some of the questions, but any other question that you want to see, you want to ask, get clarified, anything that I can help you with. Chandrakant, I think you joined a little late. Chandrakant, which city are you from, Chandrakant?
Sir, I am from Mumbai.
Oh, you're from Mumbai. So Mumbai, I did not cover today, but I did cover, Pune. We have had good number of students
Yes, sir,
coming from
Pune.
Bombay as well. Yeah. So yeah, were you there when I covered Pune?
Yes, sir, I was there. Yes, sir, I was there.
Any questions, Chandrakant?
Sir, I am currently third year IT engineer student, and I started learning this data science from from in the month of May. Sir,
Okay.
I currently I'm searching for the projects I'm trying to do a project, but I'm not getting that proper topic. That which topic I should do in the data science to represent in my resume.
But I mean, it's not. So, for example, you have to find what interests you, right? And don't worry about, and because you are still young, so you should try and work with multiple types of projects. For example, work on some data visualization projects, then work on some machine learning projects also, work on some SQL project also, work on at least one in each one of them, and then see what interests you more. For example, this girl started with, I mean, she has worked on machine learning project also, SQL project also, and then she understood that, I mean, her interest lies in data visualization, and then now she's become an expert in data visualization. You understand what I'm trying to say? So in order to understand, Chandrakant, what really interests you, because data world is a wide world, I mean, there is so much that one can do. So try and do a little bit of everything first, one project in each one of these areas, and then see what interests you, and then try and work on it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, Sahil. So that's what we do, I mean, in Ivy, a lot of people are fresh grads as well, right? So what we do is that we give them an opportunity to work on these internship projects, and these Vani and all these people that I showed you today, Uday, Vani, Shreya, they all have worked on different internship projects. Now, for example, this person as well, he recently completed one internship projects on this particular project, and 24 people have liked it. He has given the video as well. So this is something that we have started doing in the last 1 year, and we've seen great great response from the companies, because when you are online, when you are social about what you're doing, what happens is there are recruiters who are also come constantly seeing these kind of posts, and that's how it becomes viral. See, now look at this Vani girl that I was showing you, right? So some projects she worked upon, and she got 142 reactions, 23 comments, and so on. So yeah, internship is a very good way of showing experience and understanding of the projects. Definitely. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm going to give you my email ID, my phone number as well. Feel free to get connected with me. And also, feel free to get connected with me on my LinkedIn profile. So if you just Google Prateek Agarwal IV, you'll actually find me as the first link. I'll be more than happy to get connected with you on LinkedIn and on Twitter. These are the two platforms that online social platforms that I remain active in. So feel free to get connected with me there. And through me, you can also get connected with so many other people in the world of data science. Thank you for attending today's session, guys. I hope you guys had some good time, and I hope some of your questions were clarified. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions otherwise. Yeah, absolutely.
Sir,
Yeah, Akshay.
hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one last question. So actually, right now I'm working as a system engineer. So I have almost 1.5 years of experience. Okay, so there I'm using a tool called Grafana and all. It's an ML based tool. So and Prometheus also. So can we convert this experience as a system engineer to a data analytics or some data science? Like in interview, can we say that I am worked on this visualization tools and all everything? So will I be
So
considered as a fresher or an experienced?
are you doing visualization in those tools?
Yeah. It's a daily routine
So
activity for me.
yeah, you can definitely mention that, and you'll not be considered as a fresher.
Okay,
See
sir.
the tools
Okay. That's what I.
in the industry, and tools vary quite a bit from one company to another. What
Yeah.
matters is that if you really worked upon these tools and you've created a lot of these visualization, then you would actually know how to create visualization reports. That is what matters.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah.
So definitely do mention it.
Sure, sir, sure. So I won't be considered as fresher in that case, right? So I have some handful
No,
of experience, I can say.
absolutely.
Oh, okay,
And
sir. Yeah.
add to that experience by doing projects in, let's say, Tableau, Power BI, or some other visualization which are more commonly used in wide variety of companies.
Okay, sir. Sure. Sure, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. All right, guys. Great. So, any other question, anybody?
So, and one more thing. I have also did a short project on SQL as I am an IB student. So that thing. So I guess I can also portfolio that thing on my resume. Like it's a very
Absolutely.
short project.
And create a small video on it, put it on your LinkedIn as well, and then give a link on your resume.
Okay, sir. Sure. Yes, I'll do that.
Short videos. So if you want to see some of these videos, how they're created, just watch. Go to Ivy's LinkedIn profile. You'll see a lot of people who have given out. Go to Ivy's YouTube platform. You'll see a lot of students. Lot of students. This thing. Uh, lot of students projects are given here. So take inspiration. There are generally very short projects short videos that they create, 3 to 5 minutes video only. See, and you will get actually a lot of great inspirations. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks a lot for attending today's session, and I hope to see you guys again in the future. Have a good one. Take care, everybody. Do get connected with me on LinkedIn and Twitter. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye bye.